am Booysen. I'm the program advisor at Business School Netherlands, and with me as well is Professor Bernie and Greg Booysen, program advisor, Business School Netherlands International as well. Our director from Business School Netherlands International will be joining us during the session as well, and of course, we will be open to questions after Professor Bernie's presentation. Professor Bernie, I'm going to hand straight over to you.
Right, thank you very much. Greetings to all, especially in South Africa. We have a long weekend ahead of us, and we really appreciate your time for joining us this evening. Yeah, it's a dangerous thing to give me the floor because I could keep you busy for hours, but we are here because of a DBA. A doctor's degree. A very interesting figures I have for you. It's an exclusive club. If you do a doctor's degree, you're part of 1% of the population. Only 1%. Now, yearly, we have 277,000 doctorate degrees in the world each year. The country with the highest number is the United States with 71,000 plus, China 56,000, India 28,000, Germany 28,000, UK 28,000, and then comes Russia, Brazil, Spain, and Japan. So really, if you embark on a mission to do a doctorate, or in our case, a DBA, you're really part of an exclusive club. I've prepared a short little sort of slideshow. Let me see where I can find it. I'll first have to open it up, and then I will go through it. So if you just give me some time to do that. I've just got to go back to my screen and share it with you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. Business School Netherlands, we focus on action learning. So where do we start? We start with a problem statement. So we try and solve problems within industries, within specific regions. So it could be West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, it could be Europe, it could be Asia, it could be whatever, but we try and solve problems. And that is what action learning is about. Action learning is about asking the right questions. And it's quite difficult to do that because normally we try and give the answers to the questions. We, on the other side, another way around, we ask the questions and then we try and solve the problem. So, beautiful slide, Greenfields. If you do a DBA, I can assure you, you've got greenfields in front of you. Obvious, very positive. I already said 1% of the world population have a doctor's degree. So, but if you do a doctorate, you need to know there will be turbulent times. Just to give you an example, a whole lot of our students started off in the beginning of the year wanting to do a study on a specific topic, a title, and after Trump's inauguration and all the geopolitical stuff we are having on our table today, they had to change their titles. Things are moving very, very quickly. So you will have turbulent times. To match the time you need to do a DBA and your workplace and the time you've allocated for your family and for your friends, the one thing I want to warn you is if you do a DBA, you're going to be asocial for at least 2 years. But thereafter, you're back to Greenfields. And it opens up a whole new world for you just to have that little title, DR, in front of your name. I thought of starting off with the dead horse theory. And I don't know if you know the dead horse theory, but it's the following. And this is what is happening in a lot of organizations and industries. The dead horse theory is a satirical metaphor that reflects how people, institutions, or nations face obvious problems that are impossible to solve. But instead of accepting reality, they cling to justify them. The core idea is clear. If you find out you are riding a dead horse, the wisest thing to do is to get down and leave it. However, it's the same. If you're on a sinking ship, what are you going to do? Go down with the sinking ship, or are you going to find a lifeboat somewhere? So the practice, however, in practice, it is often the opposite. Instead of abandoning the dead horse, measures are taken such as buy a new saddle for the horse. Now think about your organization, think about your workplace, think about your industry. Improve the horse's feed, even though it is dead. Change the rider instead of addressing the real problem. Fire the horse manager and hire someone new, hoping for a different result. Organize meetings to discuss how to increase the speed of the dead horse. Create committees or working teams to analyze the problem of the dead horse from all angles. These committees work for months, raise reports, and finally conclude the obvious. The horse is dead. Justify efforts by comparing the horse to other similar dead horses, concluding that the problem was a lack of training. Incidentally, at BSN, we don't do this type of comparisons, ANOVA tests and things like that. You cannot solve a problem on the same level where it is created. Justify, okay, and then the proposed training courses for horses, which means increasing the budget, redefining the concept of dead to convince the horse still has a chance. And this is what very much happens in our organizations. The theory demonstrates how many people and organizations prefer to deny reality and waste time, resources, and efforts on useless solutions, rather than accepting the problem from the start and making smarter and more effective decisions. And that is what we do at Business School Netherlands. In a doctorate program, we will probe you, ask questions to find solutions to the problem. This little teddy bear depicts my concept of serious play. Now, what is serious play? Artful learning, solving problems creatively, action learning, experiential learning, And also the fun factor. If study is not going to be fun for you, then rather leave it. You must be enthusiastic, excited about your studies. And this is what we try to impose with our DBA students. We recently enrolled a new group, and I can tell you the group is so enthusiastic, and they really support each other in the cohort to push this study through, because it's not easy. If it was easy, many more people would have had a doctorate, and that is not the case. As I mentioned, only 1% in the world has got a doctor's degree. Yeah, Einstein, and I would like to refer to him a few quotes. Play is the highest form of research, and that is what we try and do. It's action learning. Action learning is really experiential, and we try to put the play element into the research. Creativity is intelligence having fun. It's all about being creative, designing a strategy, or creating a model, or a framework of some kind. Remember, after your DBA, you're going to become consultants. I assure you this is going to happen. And you need to make money. Make money in your field of expertise. And then no status quo at BSN. The significant problems we face today cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So, typical old cliche, out of the box, a different context, that is what we're looking for. And to get there, you must read, read, and read. And that would be one of my driving forces for you to read as much as possible. Right, and up is the art of questioning. I spoke about that. Here is Michael J. Marquardt. He's the father of action learning. I had the opportunity to learn from this guru on action learning, and at Business School Netherlands, we embrace starting from the bottom, the problem solving, going upwards. Different to a traditional university where you start with theory and you apply theory to your problem. We start with analyzing the problem and solving the problem, applying theory to the problem. So action learning formula, very simple. Learning is programmed knowledge. Programmed knowledge is your reading matter, your theory you are going to study, plus question, plus reflection, plus implementation, action. Always, always, always. How are you going to solve and implement your model to the problem you would like to solve? And it would be cool. And I know that the time span of this study is of such a nature, it's not always possible to implement your solution, but at least you could present that to some of your colleagues within your industry and get a reaction whether they think it will be a solution to a problem. And that is Business School Netherlands in a nutshell. Graham, over to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Bernie, sharing your insights. Thank you so much again for everyone attending. We are now open to some questions, but before we move over to questions, I just want to inform everyone that we do have the following intakes. We've got the May intake, and then of course we've got the final intake, which will be in October. And we've actually extended our partial scholarship of 28% for this academic year as well. It is available to the first 20 applicants across both intakes. So if you are ready, of course, please complete your application as soon as possible, so that we can still award the partial scholarship to you. We are now open to questions. Kanini, I know I've met you and I've also met Catherine before. Do you have any questions?
Letitia?
Thank you so much, Professor Benny, for the overview. I think that was really insightful. I wanted to find out, do you have any specific areas of study that the school is looking at? So much so that if one is wanting to embark on the doctorate, they can also see what are some of those areas that you are also looking at as a university. Over.
Yeah, indeed, Letitia. The first half of the program is very much a literature study where we focus on the digital economy, leadership within the digital economy, and digital models, management models, etc. So it's all in your hands, you know, the direction you would like to go. But from our side, we will say it's all very fine. We're in the business sciences, but with the business sciences, the old theory must still be applicable for today. And if it's not applicable, we need to discuss and reason why it is not applicable and how are we going to change it. So it's a very exciting program, you know. So I always tell the students, there's no right or wrong. There's a good and a bad, you know. So, and we try to get to the good. And as things are moving so fast in the business sciences, especially with artificial intelligence, and these are the topics we will discuss, and we try to guide our students in a direction where the traditional stuff still have value within the digital economy. I don't know if that helps you.
Yes, it does very much. Thank you so much.
Right, more questions?
Hello, Graham.
Hi, Kanini.
Hi, Professor. Thank you for
Hi.
this informative session. I have participated with. Hello. Hi. Hello, Graham. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hi, Kanini. Sorry, you were breaking up.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you hear me now? I mean, I'm on the road, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
No, sorry. I want to appreciate you, Graham, because I've had a session with something is not right.
We can hear you now, Kanini.
Right. So I was just appreciating you for the administrative support that you've already given me. I have had a session with you. Intended to get my documentation to yourselves, but as I was going all the way down, I realized there was also an administrative charge for the application. I'm just wondering whether that cannot be knocked off as is indicated, instead of trying to pay off, number one. Number two, the program seems to talk about 24 months to 36 months. And I just wanted clarification in terms of what is it you need to do to be off at 24 months and what level of effort you put in. Number three, the program which you shared, what are the chances that that is going to be modified or changed in the course of the program? Graham, and thank you.
Graham, do you want to kick off on the pricing?
Yes, so we couldn't hear all of it, but the first part, of course, we need you have to complete your online application and you have to make your 75 €75 online payment before we can view your application.
Right, on the other questions, a program has been accredited by a quality assurance committee in the Netherlands. So we don't change a program every year, but that doesn't mean that we cannot add new stuff to the program. So especially for the first half. It's all in your hands. If you want to do it in 24 months, be my guest. But then you need to crack the whip and start reading. There's a lot of reading matter because for a DBA, it's required that you have exhausted the topic in terms of the literature review. Usually I would suggest students to start with a literature review and make sure about the topic they would like to investigate.
I think it would be a challenge anyway, Bernie, for somebody to finish in 24 months because the first year has a lot of coursework that needs to be conducted and you need to get your research proposal approved. So you need to be working on your research proposal. So that would take you the first year in any event. So I think unless you're working on it full time, I think it would be extremely difficult to finish a full dissertation in 1 year.
Yeah, some students take much longer.
Correct. On average, what we've seen is 3 to 4 years. That's what we've seen on average.
Yeah.
William, you have a question?
Hi, Unita. Hi, Prof. Bernie, and everyone on the call. Thank you very much for holding this. Very much appreciated. I'm a product of the MBA program, and I can't thank you enough for all the support, especially Prof. Bernie. I think my question was, and it touches on the last two comments made by Prof. Bernie and by you, Unita, is can you give a brief rundown on what's the coursework is over the first year or 2 years? You mentioned the first year there's a lot of coursework. If we can't run through it in detail now, is it online that I could just work through it and understand what the expectation is and the workload may be in these 2 years to 4 years of what might be my life as a DBA candidate?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Prof. Bernie is going to be best positioned to answer that because he guides all those sessions.
Right, William, as you would know, everything is online and it works. The online platform works. If you finish with a specific session, you just move on automatically to the next one. So there's some discussion questions, etc. on it. And then you have a number of assignments. The first assignment is a very interesting one. You have a draft reflection assignment where you reflect and you will get the guidelines on the platform, what you need to reflect on, but it's a sort of a self-reflection of where you are in terms of your position within your industry and obvious where you intend going. And then we've got an X-ray reflective assignment where you're also going to do a draft one first before you do a final one. The purpose of these assignments are really to exercise you in formulating the writing within an academic style. So if you've done an MBA with BSN, you would know what the requirements were for an action learning project, for instance, and it's very typical that we require there. And then you have a last assignment, philosophies and design, research design. It's a nice sort of handbook, thick handbook by grant. You have to study on philosophies and research design, and you do an assignment on that. And then you move over to your draft proposal. And that would take some time because, you know, we try to perfect your proposal. And then as soon as your proposal is approved, we assign a supervisor to you. And then from then on, it's you and the supervisor. And usually we've got a practice where you work chapter by chapter. This is how we work. You get your feedback, say on chapter 1. There's about 5 or 6 chapters you need to write. And then obvious, you could submit your work for examination. And after the examination, where you have an internal and an external examiner, you will have to present your work in what we call a Viva Voce, where you sort of have a presentation of the work you've done. And then usually we have a panel of examiners that will question you on your research. So that's more or less the backdrop. You know, we have a group now moving very, very fast. I'm quite amazed how quick they have gone through the assignment phase. And a lot of them are in the reading phase. I think the reading matter takes most of your time. You have to exhaust your topic and make sure that you get the latest within your topic or your title you want to research. I don't know if that's helping you.
Yes, thanks, Prof. That's very helpful.
Right. Any other questions?
Timbani, it's nice to see you here as well. There's another one of our graduates here from the MBA program.
Great, great.
Always great to see the MBA grads.
Yeah. I see Walter Heinz.
I see I was just going to say, I see
Walter.
Walter's here.
Great. Walter, you had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Today is Walter's birthday, 19 March.
Yesterday.
Was it 18 March? Walter, are you with us?
No, today is the 20th.
Why? I think today is the 19th.
Happy birthday, Walter.
We have a question on when is the right time to start the program? If you want an honest answer, yesterday. Procrastination will not permit you to graduate.
The sooner you start and get into the rhythm of studying and doing research, it's not that much studying, it's doing research.
Correct.
Asking the right questions, and that is what we do. And if you understand that concept, you will fly. And normally, if you present a piece of work and I've got to read it, I will just ask you questions and direct you maybe in you know, where you need to go.
Yeah, AKA frustrate you to read more.
Yeah.
It makes you curious. When you get those questions, it makes you curious to go read more,
Yeah.
to understand.
Yeah,
more of
we
the
had
topic.
a doctorate student who couldn't stop reading. And at one stage, I had to say, come on, stop it now and start writing, because you cannot keep on just reading.
Yes. There's no exemption for somebody who has an MBA onto the DBA because they're not on the same level of study. That question is being asked here.
I just want to answer some of the other questions, Catherine, you've asked as well. So yes, there is still spots available for our first intake, the May intake, as well as for the October intake. But also the nice thing is there's no closing date. So you can apply now for October if you still want to prepare yourself to start at a later stage, which is also good. But at least when you start and apply now, you will then book your spot for admission as well as for the partial scholarship. The partial scholarship is 28%, so it reduced the price from $25,000 to 18,000 US dollars. Of course, terms and conditions does apply if you do take it on terms. So we've got the following payment plans. You can pay in 3 annual payments, so that's one payment every year, as the program is 36 months, or you can pay in 6 biannual payments, which means you will make a payment every 6 months. You're looking at about 3,300 if you take 6 biannual payments, and that's US dollars. Catherine, to answer you there as well, yes, you can go ahead and apply straight away. We have met, we've had a Zoom meeting as well. You've also, this is also your third info session that you are attending, but I also know that you do qualify because we've met before. So what we like to do is, on our website, it does say that that we have a free meeting. So yes, we do. So what we do is when we do connect, we like to have a Zoom meeting, individual Zoom meeting, have an understanding of each individual of why it is that you want to do a doctorate program. Do you meet the requirements, most importantly, before you complete your online application, as it is a 75 euro non-refundable fee. So we don't want you to apply if you don't meet the requirements. But Catherine, I know that you do qualify, so you can go ahead and apply. If you want, we can also meet up again next week, early next week, and then just go over a few extra things if you have some more questions.
Thank you, will do. I will email you on the side to see about setting up some time. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Timbani's asking the percentage scholarship, Graham.
The value that is 28%. It's a 28% partial scholarship, which will reduce the price from 25,000 US dollars to 18,000 US dollars.
I can tell you it's a brilliant investment. I don't know if you have an MBA, for instance, the latest figures showed, if you've got an MBA, it should make a difference of 40% on your bottom line. And if that's not happening, you're wasting your money. And I can assure you with a doctorate, it's even more. So especially if you're interested in consulting, and obviously you are going to give a solution to your industry. And these days, we away from manufacturing, we do mentofactoring, what you do with the mind. And if you can be creative and create solutions, you're always going to be in demand.